Hey everyone, Wolf here. So, as you guys have seen, I've recently reached over 200 people, and I want to thank you all so very much for supporting my channel. It's very much appreciated, and I'm happy you guys are enjoying my content. Today, I wanted to bring you something a bit special. I wanted to tell you guys more about my personal horror experiences. Now, some of these happened when I was very, very young, but I will go in order of what I remember. Also, don't forget to click like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and even support me on Patreon if you'd like. With that said, let's get into it. When I was about 2, I had a great-great-grandmother that me and my parents used to live with. I apparently used to love her very, very much, and she used to tell me stories when I was younger. And unfortunately, she passed away a few years after I was born. But the stories, they never ended. I would still see her, and I would still hear her. I'd tell my parents, and they told me it was my great-great-grandmother. So, even after death, she still visited me, and still told me stories every single night. I will always miss her, and I will always love her. Fast forwarding to when I was about 6. I was around my 2 sisters a lot, and from what they've told me, I would always be at the end of my crib, talking to someone. Apparently, from what I told them, is it used to be a little girl. Apparently, I would talk to her every single night. I don't remember what of, but I would just go on babbling. My sisters would walk in and think I'm crazy. But I do remember her, and she was a very sweet little girl. And I'm happy that I had a friend at that time. Jumping to when I was about 10. We moved into a new house a couple of years prior. I was upstairs at first, and when I turned 10, my 10th birthday, I got to move downstairs, where my sisters used to stay before they moved out. Now, if you guys have any fear of basements, you should. Because there's a lot of stuff you do tend to see downstairs, in the pitch black, with no windows. You get to see things that you think aren't even there. Could be the trick of the eye, because you're just in pitch blackness. But when you start hearing boot steps moving up and down the stairs rapidly, or you see white glowing orbs moving around, you start to believe a lot more that things are down there, and that you're in the middle of it. I would see my TV randomly turn off constantly, or my heater randomly turn on, or things being thrown at me. Like, I remember it was 2 weeks after I moved downstairs. My sister came to babysit me, and my mother has a bunch of porcelain masks around the wall. One of those porcelain masks went flying across the room. It was on a nail. The thread that was hanging on wasn't broken, but it flew halfway across the room and shattered against the other wall. That was the only thing that happened that day, but it still scared me. But you learn to adapt to being around paranormal activity. Going forward to when I was about 16 or 17, I was in high school at the time. A couple years prior, I lost a good friend of mine to suicide. And, anyways, for about 2 weeks straight, I experienced the highest level of paranormal activity I have ever had happen in my life so far. One night, while laying in the pitch black of my room, I was in bed getting ready to go to sleep. I stood up for no reason. I don't know what compelled me to do so, but I started bawling my eyes out. And I was full on crying, and I didn't know why. The next night, I had the blankets starting to be pulled off of me, and this would become a reoccurring thing. For those next 2 weeks, that happened every single night. On the fourth night, a new thing started though. It felt like somebody was sitting on my bed. I could feel it because, as you move in your bed, if you put pressure on it, your body moves towards that pressure. It felt like somebody would be constantly sitting on the bed, going up and down on the bed. I've had my leg grabbed at that point as well, and I had to deal with that for 2 weeks straight, being terrorized. I can't really say it was evil, but it wasn't exactly enjoyable. By the end of those 2 weeks, I was down at my brother's house down the street, and we were watching a movie. We paused the movie to do something. I don't remember what it was, but we heard a loud scream. And both of us were just staring at the other end of his room where we heard it from, and we were both freaked out immensely. He asked me if I was the one to make the noise, and I replied, I can't even make that kind of noise. But after that day, it never happened again. I still occasionally had people sit on my bed, or what it felt like, but I never felt the presence of that person or thing again. Another thing that happened as well was we think we had a cat die in our old house. And the reasoning being for that is there was one spot on the floor that my cats would personally scratch at every single day after they're either done eating or drinking water. But I used to have handmade rugs from my mom on the tiled floor in my room, and I was up late reading a book one night, and the next minute I know, those rugs went flying back against the wall. I heard thumping all across my room, and I saw little paw prints on the rug, but there was no cat. Another experience with that cat too is we heard meowing in the closet when it was dead silent in the house and both of our cats were in front of us. We opened the closet door and yet again we heard a thumping and it was gone. The only other time that I can remember with that cat is it would walk around in my bed and I would go to pet something. I would go to pet my cat and nothing would be there, but I would hear the purring and I would feel the kneading. I thought it was kind of cute. It was a very friendly animal. Fast forward a couple more years, where I currently am, in my new house. We do occasionally see black shadows up on the stairs. We mostly hear feet running up and down the stairs. Most of the activity happens on the stairs. We have had things thrown around. Our cats like to chase absolutely nothing. Or there was one good time when I moved into this place. I was laying down to take a nap, and before I could even shut my eyes, we have a mirror facing at the end of the bed. Our closet doors are mirrors. It's an old house. It was built in the 70s, so that's how it was. Which, it's fine. But they've always said that mirrors are the gateway to the other realm. And I still highly believe in that. Anyways, I persist. As I went to go down to take a nap, before I even closed my eyes, I couldn't move. I was paralyzed. I looked in the mirror, and there was a little girl laying on the end of my bed. I couldn't see her on the bed itself, but I saw her sitting on the bed at the end of the mirror. I couldn't yell. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. All I could do was look at her. This lasted for 2 minutes, and it was the longest 2 minutes of my life. It was creepy, and I don't know who it was, but it was definitely a strong experience. There's one more I forgot to say as well. Before I moved into the house that we are in now, when I was at my apartment after high school, there was giggling little girl that followed me from the cemetery. I did not feel any evil presence. They were very kind. But it was still weird to hear that giggle a couple nights out of the week. You knew it was a child. And needless to say, I think that spirits are just attracted to us. Well, everyone, those were my personal experiences. I want to hear your personal experiences. Head over to my Reddit page, linked in the description, and let me know of your personal stories. Thank you so much. Have a great day.